Welcome to the Spectre Sisters, your portal into the unexplainable,
the unknown,
and the undeniably strange. On this episode of Spectre Sisters, we will take a peek into the history of the notorious Helltown, Ohio. Let's start from the beginning. Helltown, Ohio was first discovered by the Native American tribe Mingo. The area is located right by the town of Newville, just north of the junction of Clear Creek and Black Fork on the Mohican River. The tribe later abandoned the site in 1755. After signing the Treaty of Easton in 1758, the tribe Lenape were pushed out to the west of their native land and into what we know today as Ohio. In the 1770s, the Lenape came across the area and thus Cleartown was born. This name came to fruition due to the beautiful clear waters running through the nearby stream. Later on, Lenape discovered that the German word for clear sounded a lot like the word hell. This is how Helltown was born. In 1782, the town was yet again abandoned due to a violent event known as the Gnadenhutten Massacre, where the U.S. militia killed 96 pacifist Christian Native Americans. This tragedy marked Helltown as part of the War Trail, which spanned from south of Sandusky, Ohio, through the northeastern part of the Cuyahoga River Valley. In 1805, two men, Alfred Wolcott and James Stanford, stumbled across Helltown and took such an interest in the area that a year later, the men returned and built a cabin for themselves. This action became the kickstarter of new settlement in the region. On the 15th of January in 1811, Helltown became officially considered as the township of Boston when the local population hit the marker. Between 1825 and 1827, the township of Boston started to become more inhabited due to the construction of the Erie Canal, which helped provide transportation for people and goods alike. This also drew in more farmers and, consequently, more agriculture. Workers would transport lumber, flour, stone, and bricks, among other items, to the more popular markets in Cleveland and Akron. In the 1850s, canal-based transport started its decline due to the introduction of the Valley Railway. People quickly found trains to be a much easier means of transportation of goods. By the 1920s, local quarries completely ceased all operations. This later would lead to the American government turning the town of Boston into what we know today as the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. In the 1970s, the National Park Services started to purchase the remaining properties from the town's residents. Houses began being boarded up and the eventual abandonment swept through the once bustling township. At some point in the 19th century, during some of the first excavations of the area, multiple Lenape grave sites were demolished. Workers recovered artifacts such as 2 iron knives, an iron tomahawk, stone arrowheads, a stone axe, a gunflint, as well as some brass mountings from a musket, proving the tribe's existence in the area further. This was when the eerie rumors started emerging. Visitors and explorers of Helltown would often take note of an overall unsettling feeling that seemed to consume the land. The decaying foundations to what many people had once called home definitely added to the emotional aspect. Explorers happened across a few relics that really brought a certain amount of unease. Among these oddities included a First Presbyterian church, which seemed mundane until further inspection. The church seemed to be adorned with upside-down crosses. This led many explorers to believe that the townspeople couldn't have been very God-fearing, and in fact thought them likely to be Satanists. Tales of animal and human sacrifices soon surfaced after this haunting discovery. Another oddity found in Helltown was a very dilapidated, even uncanny-looking school bus. Whispers of a tragedy filled the air. Paranormal investigators and urban explorers alike claimed to encounter the spirits of the local school children peering at them through the bus's decaying windows. Stories of an alleged serial killer who targeted children came to light. People theorized the spirits of the children to be tied to the bus, thus explaining the paranormal encounters. One of the most infamous legends of Helltown is a tale of a chemical spill that riddled the town and affected the wildlife in some astonishing ways. There were stories of a massive snake, later named the Peninsula Python, a once normal-sized snake that came into close contact with toxic chemicals and mutated into a monster that terrorized the townsfolk, prompting them to evacuate. There are also some legends of a particular location within Helltown known as the End of the World. This was a section of Stanford Road that has an intimidating steep incline, followed immediately thereafter by a sudden drop that creates the visual illusion of vehicles falling off of a cliff. Others have claimed to experience supernatural occurrences while traversing the road. Some even say that the road itself is evil in nature, blaming the road for many deadly car crashes that have occurred. There's also a famed Crybaby Bridge said to adorn Helltown. According to its legend, if you leave your parked car on the bridge, you will return to find the vehicle covered in dust and scattered in childlike footprints. If you listen real close, you could even hear the helpless cries of a doomed baby that had allegedly been thrown off the haunted bridge. These tales drew in a certain curious eye to wonder what really did lead to the total destruction of Helltown. The leading theories pointed towards a chemical spill so dreadful that the government had to cover up the aftermath. In the 1980s, at a nearby dump site, it was found that there was in fact toxic chemicals in the area. This was a couple decades after Boston, Ohio became part of a larger state park. What do you think?
I think growing up around here, like, I had heard about Helltown, Ohio, but I didn't know the full extent of, like, all of that. And it's very freaky.
Oh, yeah. There's, like, so much that came out of one area. And I have some quote-unquote explanations to share after this, but I just wanted to hear what you guys thought about those stories first.
They're insanely creepy and kind of unnerving, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, maybe that land is, like, cursed for some reason.
Yeah.
Did you say, did you mention something about there being a tribe there, or was that...
Yeah, there was multiple. It started with the tribe Mingo, and they found the area originally, and then they ended up abandoning it, and then the tribe Lenape found the space, and they're who named the town Cleartown, which got turned into Helltown.
Yeah.
So technically the name and origin isn't bad, but it is like odd.
It was, it kind of was foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does seem like it's just a weird area that for whatever reason attracts
things.
Yeah, like
kind of like the Hellmouth in Buffy.
Yeah, they're crazy stories, especially because since they pretty much leveled the place in 2016 and like they found a bunch of artifacts, like it proves that these people were there, and like it proves that they're, you know, they had grave sites and stuff. And so if you're building on that and excavating and stuff, that's
that
usually not good.
Yeah.
And then like the whole alleged serial killer thing is crazy. And there's a lot of YouTube videos, and there's even a documentary, but it's kind of crazy that it like attracts so much, and it's still part of the park. Like you can still walk there. It's renamed under Boston Township though, which is crazy.
Okay, yeah, so
it's right by, what is that weird town called? Washington Courthouse, I think. Yeah.
They didn't want to keep the name Helltown?
Right. I think that would attract people. It reminds me of, in Michigan, they have the town of Hell, and you become the mayor for a day there if you want.
Oh, okay.
And you can get married there as like fun jokes. And so, yeah, they have a church. Like, it's tiny, a tiny little area, and it's like basically just tourist stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of reminds me of that, except they did change it to Boston Township. But yeah, it's near Washington Courthouse and stuff. It's kind of like...
Yeah, it's in an odd spot up north of Cuyahoga.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, and then you said that there's also like a Crybaby Bridge there and everything too. Those kind of pop up in multiple places, right? Like it's not, there's not just one, but
there's actually at least 26 noted Crybaby bridges, including tunnels and like tunnels and something else here in Ohio.
Here in Ohio? Okay.
Yeah, just in Ohio.
Yeah. I know that's across like states and stuff. That's crazy that Ohio is home to 26 of them.
26, including tunnels and roads.
Wow.
Are any of those tunnels secret?
Secret
probably. There's secret tunnels underneath Troy.
Yeah. There's tunnels under here.
Yep.
Under Tip City.
Prohibition stuff. They would sneak alcohol.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that there's a lot of questions. There's a few explanations, or whatever. These are some explanations that people have come up with. Started with the Satanic Church seemed to mimic the Gothic revival style, where it was more commonplace to display crosses as upside down without any dark connotation. Is this the truth? Was the truth something far more sinister?
So, like, just kind of a fashion statement, sort of
weird.
It's not a fashion statement. It's a death wish.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. That's an odd.
Well, and people, people sometimes do that, like, to old abandoned place, or like to places that they just kind of. Was it graffiti? It was
just like the actual church was like built with upside down crosses in it. And I think
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I could see maybe because I believe it was John the Baptist was crucified upside down.
Yes, so the Catholic Church actually has some imagery of upside down crosses as well. People were noticing at the Pope's funeral or procession or whatever that there was part of the church that had the upside down crosses, and it's because somebody, was it
St. Peter,
but it was because of the guilt of not wanting to be crucified like Christ, not feeling worthy of being crucified like Christ. So it was like the
so I could see
so it's actually like it's not always a satanic thing, but it's more commonly known as that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I could see that being the case, maybe. It's still just kind of odd, because we grew up around a lot of Gothic-style churches in Missouri, and they didn't...
No.
Not a single one of them
because Gothic style, that's actually how a lot of the old churches were built.
Yeah.
That were just regular churches, but,
I don't know.
It is very strange.
Yeah.
Very spooky.
Yeah, and in regards to the tales about the dilapidated bus... seemed to kind of unravel when it became revealed that the bus was originally used to house a family while they waited for their real home's renovation to be completed, making the bus more like that of a less conventional RV. So apparently it was like never a school bus.
Interesting.
Which I don't know.
Was it a Greyhound?
No, don't get me started on Greyhound buses.
I had a pretty
broke down a lot
on a Greyhound.
I did not.
Someone tried to sell her and she got stranded.
I did.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 100%. It got like so much worse than that too.
I took my Greyhound from like Trotwood to Chicago, and the only issue I really had was this guy in front of me who was going from OSU to Chicago to visit like family or friends. I can't remember what it was. He just wouldn't stop talking to me and hitting on me. Kept texting Dylan, and I'm like, help, I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I got stranded for like hours on hours. My dad had to come pick me up in Indianapolis.
Oh my god.
And they like kicked us out of the like area where you're supposed to be able to go inside and stuff. So we were just outstanding in the road.
That should be illegal.
Indianapolis. Right. Yeah. Of Indianapolis. Well, it's pouring rain. It's like thundering, stormy. And then I had, this guy approach me and he's like, I want you to come around back with me, and flash me a
oh my god.
Okay. I just want to go home and go to bed, actually. Thanks, though. It was terrible. I hated that.
Yeah. I think you and me, for whatever reason, attract
freaks
people, because every time I've been, we're going off the rails now, but that's fine.
That's okay.
On a crazy train, R.I.P. Ozzy. Okay.
Oh my god.
Sorry. I'm sorry. That was there was no filter there. It's a tribute. Okay.
That's fair.
The few times that I've been left alone for like a minute, I've been approached by people. There was one time coming out of the Century Bar that I was waiting for someone to pick me up, and they were like just around the corner, and these two guys approached me, and they were like looking at me and like, your purse is really nice and all this kind of stuff. And then one of the guys started to touch my face too, and he was like, you have such a like,
I would have bit the actual living.
I did not know what to do. I was like, and then thankfully I got picked up right after that. But then just recently, when I was going out with some friends, I said goodbye for the night, went out to my car. This was in Dayton too. And there was a head that just comes out of the bushes, and he comes up to me and he goes, he was paranoid, and I honestly wasn't scared. I could just tell he was scared too. And he came up and he's like, hey, he even said ma'am. He's like, ma'am, is there anybody following me or watching me? And
buddy.
I was like, it was a little bit endearing, even though, the situation wasn't great. But he goes, hey, they're kind of after me, so can you watch me? There's a Wendy's that was like,
oh no,
just very close by, like just a short walkway. And he's like, can you watch me while I walk to this Wendy's, make sure no one
buddy.
gets me? And I was like, sure, I'll watch you. And so he would walk like 10 feet, turn around and look at me, and I gave him a thumbs up. I was like, you're good, buddy.
Oh, look at
So that
Brie.
was actually kind of a little endearing, but
Yeah.
it's like literally every time I'm left alone for a minute, somebody comes
that's
out
fair.
of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys really attract crazy. I just attract people who like either want to hit on me or tell me their life story.
Oh God.
Well, then, yeah, that's kind of nice because that mean,
Yeah.
I'm not convenient for you, but it means that you're approachable, I guess.
I wish I wasn't.
Wasn't. Nick says, pondering a Zoomies sticker.
It's honestly a really cool sticker.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, another theory, the Crybaby Bridge one, as well as the end of the world story. They, it is unfortunately not that unique, like Nyx is saying. Crybaby Bridge is said to have multiple versions of the bridge scattered across the whole U.S. This is the same for the whole end of the world thing. There are many roads surrounded with the same mysteries. And that even includes, like, not even just the U.S., it's across the whole world. Do we think it's like a coincidence, mass hysteria? Do we think maybe certain parts are definitely haunted or whatnot?
I think some of it is definitely people reading into things, and I know that like the power of suggestion is a
Yeah.
big thing. I think maybe some of it is real for sure, but I'm kind of the resident skeptic now.
That's fine. That's okay.
But like, I mean, I do think there is stuff out there for sure, but I think in a lot of like shows you see and stuff like that,
Yeah.
obviously a lot of it's scripted, but then there's also a lot of, I think people just kind of get in their heads sometimes too.
That's fair. Yeah.
But so with the Crybaby Bridges, is it always the story of because a baby was like
Yeah, it's
thrown
pretty
off the
much
bridge or
that
something?
sort
Okay.
of. It'll happen, be like,
People be throwing lots of babies.
yes,
Oh my
God.
gosh.
Just you wait.
Just you went. Nyx is adding to that statistic. No, I'm just kidding. No, and I've been to a couple Crybaby Bridges personally here in Ohio. One was totally like nothing. Like it was just like a weird kind of like blocked off bridge. And I was like, okay,
And
this
then
is
people
lame.
are automatically like, there's something haunted about it
Right.
because it's blocked off and it's
Yeah.
isolated.
God, you're telling me. And that one was just lame. But I went to this other one. Well, because any time that I've gone, the two times, the first time the car that we took was that little like Subaru truck.
Yeah.
And we got to the bridge and like had crazy experiences that I can go into detail with some other time. And like as we went to leave, literally the car was missing half of the gas that was just there.
Oh my God.
Literally, like and we could not find a gas station that was open. This was like during COVID, so we were like 2 hours plus away from home. And I'm like, okay, don't have
You
anything.
encountered some gas guzzlers.
God, I guess. And then the second time, when I went with a group, we had parked on the bridge again, and I was like, this is not smart. And so we had like a horrifying encounter. That one was way worse, and I wanted to leave. So I was sitting in the car, and I was like, can we go? I was given the keys, and I go to turn it over, and the battery was so dry that it would not even turn up. No clicking, nothing, silence. It somehow
Yeah, that
fully
would
died and
kill
dried
the
out
pic.
within like 20 minutes or less. Like I was never there for that long. Same with the first time. I was only there for like maybe 15 minutes because I got freaked out. And then we had to wait for someone to come and bring us a battery. And by the time we left, it was like 3 a.m. So we'd been there for hours. And I'm sitting in the car and I'm watching as the lock button slowly starts to unlock, and I'll smack it down. I'm like, absolutely not. So I'm sitting in there like freaking out. I'm like, nope, nothing's allowed to touch me. Nothing's allowed to, like, I don't want you following me home. You're not allowed to follow me home. Like, all of that. And then I see it start doing it again. So like multiple times it would like start to unlock itself, and I'd smack it back down. So that one's weird.
Unnerving.
Oh, that one's horrible. So I do think that obviously I think there's some that could hold some sort of water to it, because that one was also weird because it had like Latin spray painted all over the bridge too, which is
I
never
don't
good.
like that.
Yeah, so I feel like when people start to do that kind of stuff in areas, it
Yeah,
definitely
it's
like
inviting
makes it,
something.
Yeah.
it makes it attract that kind of thing.
I do think too with that specific one, if I'm remembering correctly, someone had unfortunately set a homeless person on fire on that bridge too.
Oh my gosh.
So that one was like really rough. That one was
that one actually had like a history that was not good.
No, and you can't find it on these sites either. Like I'd have to like go back to some of the videos that I recorded of that time and try to like pinpoint it based on destination there. Like it was crazy.
I mean, there's a chance it might be in this map.
Oh yeah, Nyx has got a handy dandy little hidden Ohio book of all sorts of freaky activities.
Gosh, that kept unraveling farther than I
it
thought
keeps going.
would.
It looks like it keeps going. Oh my god. So it's the size of a blanket.
Yes,
you could sleep with it. Oh,
okay.
Mattress.
It's literally the size of sheets.
Yeah, so it's got like everything. That would be cool to take a closer look. Thank you, Brendan. Shout out.
Shout out, Brendan.
Shout out, Brendan, for that one. And I know some of you were wondering, and rest assured, all the snake-fearing listeners, there have been no real sightings of the peninsula python. Yeah, there's been no real sightings of the peninsula python. There may have been toxic chemicals nearby, but none of them contained any genetic damaging components or other mystical ailments. Only typical rashes and illnesses are really associated with it.
Mystical ailments.
Amen. What can I say? I'm eloquently spoken.
Eloquently.
Okay. Well, yeah, the snake one was probably the one that I least thought was real.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, giant snake? What the hell?
It's just an anaconda that somebody brought over as a pet and decided to release into the wild.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got chemicals, son. Thank you.
There's a new sticker.
Oh, God. Yeah. Clip that. But yeah, so that really leaves the question, why did the residents of Helltown, Ohio have to evacuate? The simple truth is that there was a national growing concern for deforestation. This fear led to President Gerald Ford signing a legislation in 1974 to protect and help preserve the nation's forests through establishing new national parks throughout the country. Unfortunately for the locals, this meant they had no choice but to vacate their homes. A lot of former residents hold understandable resentment for the government that seemed to now have no urgency in the planned demolition after the townsfolk were forced to leave. It took a couple of decades before the final demolition took place in 2016. Even though the town was nothing but rubble at this point, there were many urban explorers, even a mockumentary that forever memorialized the fables of Helltown. The 2017 found footage documentary, simply named Helltown, took its own liberties and spun a new twist into the legends, with sacrifice rituals, government conspiracy, and even a windy boy. The show garnered even more people to form their own conclusions of Helltown. Do you think Helltown is nothing but hoaxes? Could it be aliens? You tell me. Have you ever visited the area and have a story to share? Email us at spectresisters@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your stories.
It's always aliens.
It's always aliens.
Always.
Spook you next time!
Spookin' freaks.
Ah!